Cover Judges the Hits, episode 13 for the month of May 2016. Was it a good month?
We'll see.
We'll see. Well, first off, we made some predictions at the end of episode 12 about comics we thought were going to be the best May had to offer, and now we're going to check in on those. What'd you pick, Seth?
I chose
Southern Bastards number 14.
Southern Bastards number 14. I chose this comic because it is the start of a new plot point where Roberta, the daughter of Earl Tubb, returns to Craw County.
Finally.
It was teased at in issue 4, I think, and now it's finally here. It is mostly setup of her justification for coming back, so nothing crazy happens, but I will say it was really good. The first page sets up a comparison between Afghanistan, where she was fighting, and Alabama, which I thought was really effective, and the inciting incident that leads her to Craw County was really interesting.
What'd you pick, Colby?
I picked Hellboy in Hell number 9.
They're still making Hellboy books.
It's the penultimate real-time Hellboy issue, and it was brilliant. It lived up to my expectations. Spanish Bride, there's one more thing for Hellboy to do, and that's in issue 10, which is bound to be my favorite comic of the month in June.
Maybe the year, right?
Maybe the year.
If only we had a segment later in the show where you could talk about how excited you are about it.
Nick, what did you choose for last month?
Last month, I choose the final issue of The Legacy of Luther Strode. So this is the third arc of Luther Strode, but it's the final issue of this arc, and it was a banger. If you guys remember 2 episodes ago, Luther Strode number 5 was my favorite pick of the month because they found this happy place they found like a good focal point for Luther to go out on down the road that he was going. And they stuck with it, and the fight between Cain was brutal, but also just really well written.
Oh, I didn't see you there. Favorite cover. My favorite cover of May was Black Road number 2, written by Brian Wood, but more importantly, cover art by Gary Brown. Art inside is also by Gary Brown. Alright, this cover shows Julia and Magnus, minuscule in the foreground, looking on to their destruction. This is a perfect symbolic crystallization of the issue in one single image. Gary Brown uses colors perfectly for this cover. We have red and blue mixing for some sweet purples in this burning village. It's just a really, really gripping image, and I don't know, I think it just speaks for itself. I like how small the characters are in front of this billowing fire in front of them, and yeah, it's really simple but effective. Our next segment, we like to look at all the first issues that we read and decide, 1, if they're accessible for new readers, and 2, if we're going to continue with the series. First up, we have 4001 AD from Valiant. It is the story of New Japan and their fight against their god the Father with Rai as their savior. I will say that this book has the best computer or digital art that I've ever seen. There are a couple big two-page spreads that really show this battle that commences in the first issue really well. This epic battle is well established, and it is a good blend of futurism and religious fervor, and I thought it was a really good first issue. I know you guys didn't have a chance to check it out, but it has a slight degree of entry. I feel like knowing the Valiant characters would be helpful, but I'm really interested in issue 2, so yeah, I'm going to keep reading.
Next up, we've got Future Quest number 1, Hanna-Barbera Super Team Up Crossover Madness. This book is on DC, and it's exactly what I just said. It's Johnny Quest, Haji. Doesn't sound right saying that. Dr. Quest. It doesn't. It just feels wrong. We got Space Ghost, Birdman.
Scooby-Doo?
No Scooby-Doo, because they're in their own thing that we
Right.
are not going to talk about because it sounded really
Yeah,
bad.
it was-
This book is accessible, but helping, like, again, knowing the universe that they're talking about is kind of important. I don't know like who Birdman's real identity is. I don't know really what the deal with Space Ghost is, besides he was a funny talk show host late night. Yeah, I'm probably not going to keep reading this, but that being said, it was kind of fun and nostalgic. The art looks just like the cartoons, only better. It's like an update, but they don't change much.
They don't have to
Yeah.
deal with the motions.
And then, of course, everybody's favorite colorist, Jordi Belair, just nailed it. Everything is just on point in this book.
Nice.
But it's not my cup of tea.
For a team up book, I thought it was really restrained and like introducing characters, which I really enjoyed. You get majority of the book with just the Johnny Quest characters dealing with some anomaly, and I really liked that. You get a glimpse of Space Ghost at the end, but I imagine many more characters will be involved later on. I really enjoyed it. I will be reading the second issue.
Next up is 1%. The 1%, I'm sorry. After escaping poverty, Renato Jones becomes a vigilante whose focus is making the super rich pay. It's like a Bernie Sanders fever dream. Totally accessible. That's pretty cool. It's like, I don't know, Punisher against the rich, kind of, but with flair. The
Yeah.
art is awesome. This is all one guy doing the art, the color, and the writing. Carr.
And he
Kyle
loves-
Anders.
He loves telling you about it.
Yeah, and he is just pretty much obliterating the 1%ers and making them look bad.
Okay. I did like the art.
Yeah.
I thought he did some really interesting panel work, and there's some really cool splash pages that I appreciated. I would probably not keep reading this. It was a little ham-fisted, over the top, and I know it's supposed to be,
Yeah.
but it's like the bad guy just keeps getting worse. It's like, oh, like I'm not surprised you have a sex dungeon on your fucking on your leisure yacht.
All recorded.
And it's like all recording you like murdering illegal immigrants, and it's just like, what? I don't know. Wasn't for me.
It's the worst of the 1%.
It's like
Yeah.
the worst of every 1%er combined.
Plus,
Yeah,
we've gotten the entire backstory. Seems like.
it seems
in one
like
issue,
it.
So
I will say I do like the machete on the end of his pistol.
yeah,
I thought that was pretty cool.
I think I'll get the second issue, see where it goes, and then
Next up, we have Punisher from Marvel, written by Becky Cloonan. Frank is back and pissed as ever in the first Punisher comic written by a woman. Is it accessible? I think so. I don't know much about Punisher except that he's pissed.
He's so pissed.
Out
His
for
family's
vengeance.
dead. I mean,
Will I keep reading? I don't think so. I felt like this issue was really bad, really flat, and there's one line of dialogue, one exchange that I think me and Nick have to do a dramatic reading of that just epitomizes how bad this book is written. Sorry, Becky.
sorry, Becky. That's another thing is I'm usually
We really like Becky Cloonan.
we like
Yeah.
Becky Cloonan, and I was excited about a woman writing this. Maybe like a feminine touch is what Frank Castle needed to stop being a murdering savage that lives in New York.
Let me just paint the picture real quick. We have the aftermath of a Punisher Frank Castle beatdown of this drug peddling group, and then we have some DEA agents coming in. And I'll start. Looks like somebody didn't give a fuck about due process.
Stop it, Henderson.
And there you have it.
And by beatdown, we mean full-blown multiple homicide. I think, like, it's really getting hard to get behind Punisher because he's just a murdering sociopath, right? Nighthawk from Marvel. Chicago's crime scene just got a lot more brutal as Nighthawk tries to clean up the Windy City. This is by one of my favorite authors right now, David F. Walker. He's doing Shaft and Power Man and Iron Fist, which everybody here kind of agrees that's
Really good.
kind of the best. Is it accessible? Yeah. I wish I would have known a little bit more about Nighthawk. He's on Squadron Supreme, something that I'm not terribly familiar with. I dug it. Really brutal for Marvel. Like, it's gritty, bloody, and Nighthawk is this humorless, just unforgiving entity that is trying to just clean up Chicago. Wow, he sounds a lot like Punisher when I talk about him like that.
He's a little bit more involved in the community, though.
Yeah.
He's like an actual job outside of being Nighthawk, which that's the part of the comic I really enjoyed, was that he has interactions with some investors who want to like redevelop a neighborhood.
Yeah.
And that kind of leads him to his actions after that, which is much more well-rounded than Frank Castle.
Civil War II, number 0.
Could, like, Joe, any kid, like a 12-year-old kid, walk into the comic shop and pick up Civil War 2, number 0, and know what the hell is going on if they don't read that many
it's not
comic
very
books?
approachable unless you've read all of Pleasant Hill and...
I think it's just if you know the
I don't know.
characters.
Yeah.
you could probably...
I don't think you need to have read
Stumble
Pleasant Hill
along.
or even any previous Marvel stuff. If you know the characters involved, so that's a requirement, a hurdle to get over. But it's a bunch of... my biggest problem with it is it's really static. It's like a bunch of interactions between two characters, like conversations.
Yeah.
It's a conversation book. It's just this character talking to this character.
All well done, though.
Yeah. Brian Michael Bendis, he knows how to write a conversation.
He's killing it.
My favorite part of the book, though, was when She-Hulk jumps up to a helicarrier. That was pretty sweet.
By far the best part of the book. I also liked when they're walking through the Punisher's crime scene and she yells, "Shove it, Henderson!" Just kidding, that was in Punisher still.
Brutal Nature, number 1 from IDW. This is about natives of Central America go all Animorphs on the conquistadors.
That sounds awesome.
We don't even have to waste too much time on this.
No.
This was miserable. It legitimately takes the crown for worst comic I've ever read.
Dang.
I'm not kidding. The art is like...
Did you read Punisher?
I did, and this is worse.
Oh,
the art looks like it's from a mid-2000s PC game. It's really bad. Really, really bad.
Wow.
The dialogue is terrible.
Yeah. Seth was appreciating the 4001 AD digital art. This is the other side of that miserable coin, and it looks rough.
It looks really bad.
Do you like your comics to have like the backdrop that Doom, or Dune even had? No, you don't.
It's not good.
It's like the development team from
I feel
Quake.
like the idea had some gold to mine from it, but it's just not well done. The dialogue, and that is another thing that really sinks it. I think we'll just move on.
Yep.
Just a bad, avoid at all cost.
For the most controversial first issue of May 2016, we've got Captain America, Steve Rogers, number 1. Spoiler alert! Just putting it out there. Steve is young, willing, and evil? Plus, laser shield! This is from Nick Spencer. He was writing Captain America before, and he's also writing Captain America Sam Wilson. And now he's back to younger Steve Rogers Cap. Much like Civil War II, I feel that like any like kid that just saw Captain America Civil War and is all jacked up on Cap juice, if they bought that, a lot of it would go over their head, as would Civil War II.
And then you have a bunch of characters that I haven't even heard of.
No.
Yeah. Well,
So,
old school.
yeah,
They're
really
old
old
school. Well, which ties into Steve Rogers' history. but-
Heard of Jack Flag? Is that his name?
I mean, I have, but
oh my god.
glimpses.
So, this is
Let's talk the twist. Let's talk
Yeah,
the
I mean, at the end of this book, he says Hail Hydra, and basically takes over an enemy ship for, theoretically, evil doing.
Right.
This, like, really, it is kind of funny. It came out the same day as DC Rebirth, where Superman has died. They're rebooting the entire universe, but all anyone could fucking talk about was how Cap says Hail Hydra at the end of this book. And a lot of people are pissed.
Got some media, didn't it?
Yeah. What'd you guys think?
I kind of liked it just from the fact that honestly the issue in total was hit or miss for me. I thought it was really stop and start with the backstory. They're like the stuff from his childhood. That was just really it really like slowed down the pace of the book.
And it was so long and drug out.
They had like a backstory for like a suicide bomber earlier that was really, really like trite and stupid.
Yeah.
Really flat. It had no like emotional effect to it. Some of the action was okay, passable, I would say.
Yeah.
But overall, the issue I think was not great. The reveal, though, I think is interesting just for the simple fact that like, if people are pissed about it, why they need to remember that like, this is not like a change of the character. It hasn't revealed. Nothing's been revealed as to how he came to this point. It could easily be someone just brainwashing him, or like, you know, the Cubex situation like fucked with him or something. So I think it's like a wait and see more than anything.
It almost has to be that because
Yeah,
I mean,
it's not, they're
how
not going
could
to
all
turn
this
Steve Rogers into a Hydra.
Have been an ultimate plan.
So like when people are outraged about it, it's kind of stupid because it's just like a character dying and you're expecting it to come back.
Also, it's a comic book, and they do this stuff all the time, where all of a sudden, like, Spider-Man is possessed by the ghost of Dr. Octopus, or Steve Rogers becomes nomad and lives on an intergalactic plane for no reason. That happened.
Yeah.
So this Hydra thing is kind of small scale.
I'm sure in a couple of issues that will be resolved, certainly.
I bet all of Cap's friends come together and save him from himself.
He needs it. He really needs it.
He needs it. He's going down a dark path.
Also, Steve Rogers as a character in this book sucked. He was boring.
He was super boring.
So boring.
It was like they played up the fact that he was like old-timey, but he's like young, and as I said before, he goes to the same barber as the Punisher now, so his hair looks really shitty in this book. His haircut just looks so bad. Why don't they just look at Chris Evans' haircut and fucking draw that?
We're really shitting on Punisher, but it deserves it.
Punisher was so bad.
Alright, DC Rebirth. This is a big, huge, universe-spanning title.
So big, it cannot be contained in the favorite verse, and we are going to go straight to Special Report.
I think a lot of people have broken down like what has happened in the comic and what that might mean going forward. I think we should just focus initially on what worked for us and what didn't work.
Sure.
I'll start off with stuff that I thought did work. As much as I am tentative with huge crossovers like this, they do give you an insight into like where the publisher sees themselves and where they like want to go in the next 6 months, 6 to 12 months.
Definitely. It seems to be tying in with the movies a little bit.
Yeah, and as far as this issue is concerned, I think what works for me is that it's kind of the best of both worlds. And what I mean by that is I feel like DC often gets bogged down by their super fans and their adherence to their continuity to the point where every single issue matters and they want to like make sure that each plot decision is leading up to something. The problem with that though is you have new people who want to read a Superman book after they see the movie and then they read some incoherent mess. I think Rebirth offers an olive branch to superfans saying that New 52 was a mistake in some senses, but also gives the opportunity for many titles to be for new readers. That's what I took away most, and that I think worked best. What do you guys think?
I definitely agree with that. It seemed like they are trying to dispel or kind of change the DC characters are more like God's type rep that DC has had purposefully. So I like all of the Flash stuff and the time or the Speed Force tie-ins and the back history. I like some of the emotion they're trying to bring back. It seems
The relationships and stuff?
definitely more relationships, more. I mean, that stuff was there a long time ago, but it's been missing for a while. And I like the fact that there's something behind all of this that supposedly is more powerful and hasn't been manipulating before.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what that is.
Yeah, no, you guys, you said it all. Everything I liked about it. I mean, first and foremost, I can't say that I've read a lot of Jeff Johns comics or a lot of DC in general, but the care and love for this universe was just like they wore it on their sleeve, and Jeff Johns like was just the perfect person to be doing this. I personally do not care about the Flash at all, but I still got a little misty when Wally and Barry see each other, and he's like, how could I ever forget you? Like, I thought for sure, like, Wally's dead. This sucks. Like,
I know, right?
How grim. And then, like, to bring it back, and, like, I felt a little bit emotional. And, like, there's something to say for that for two characters I really don't give a shit about, and this is probably the only time I'm going to read about them. I thought it was, like, a really touching moment. Let's get into what didn't work.
My complaints about this first issue are going to kind of sound like they were the things I liked about it, which seems confusing, but I'll try and explain my thinking. This issue, for me, was impenetrable. There are so many characters and so many instances that they bring up or reference to that I had no connection to or emotion invested in.
A good time to take a quick toll. Do you think it was accessible?
No.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I think this is absolutely inaccessible at Colby.
Probably not. I know a lot of the DC back history, so
I'll caveat that complaint with the fact that I think the DC Rebirth title is going to be more of a consolation to mega super fans, and then the Rebirth titles going forward will be more for new readers. So going forward, that might fix itself. You might not need necessarily to read the Rebirth main title to jump into specific characters that you're interested in. My biggest complaint that I don't think can be overlooked going forward is that I think Jeff Johns and DC in general are trying to dig themselves out of a hole to the point where the Wally West character in this comic comes off as like every DC fan that was upset with New 52. And if they turn that publisher decision into a plot point, it almost seems like they're giving themselves a pass for mistakes they've made. If they make it a plot point in canon, then it doesn't seem as much of a mistake to the people that love DC. He knows these characters that are supposed to know each other and they don't, or they're supposed to love each other and they don't.
Somebody's stealing memories or the past,
but that's because the publisher made these decisions to reboot these characters in a way that they're able to remine characters for plot that wouldn't be possible before.
Agreed.
And if they make it that so that Dr. Manhattan is the reason that this happened, it doesn't. It like
that's an extrapolation.
That's true. It potentially doesn't happen that way, but
right.
that could be a manufactured way to like alleviate their guilt in it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I did read an article last night, an analysis of this issue, just getting some second opinions, seeing the other side of the fence, and they describe Jeff Johns as an author who can fix a problem so well that you start questioning, why was this ever even a problem?
Exactly, yeah.
And I thought that was like what you were just saying, like, if you blame Dr. Manhattan for like production flaws at the end of the day, I guess it can sort of fix it.
It was all meant to be.
It was all meant to be.
We always had this in mind. When it's obvious.
In 1962.
Do you guys have any like more specific complaints?
Yeah, I mean, not working for me is, and I am a minority according to the internet, according to these dudes I hang out with. I think that art is just old, tired, flat, motionless garbage.
I'm less on your side. I guess I'm more fluctuating between, but I didn't enjoy the look of the book, especially when you compare that to Civil War II, which I think is killing it.
man.
They are definitely going for a style that's kind of passed them by.
Yeah.
I think overall it was successful in this issue, but I wouldn't pick up a book for this art style.
No, it just...
But, I mean, it had different artists, and I liked some of the art actually, but some of the art I didn't. So.
It was definitely up and down throughout the book. It wasn't consistent.
I just had the same feeling. So like I remember when I was like 16, someone was like, "You got to read Crisis on Infinite Earths," and this is so if I'm 16, it's what like 2000, 2002,
Right.
and I just remember looking at that art being like, "Ugh, like this just like didn't age well," and it already looks that way with this art, which I know it's a throwback to old DC. That's what they like. Everyone is so muscular. And like, there's always fucking lightning shooting out of everything. I just fucking hated it. But like, with all this lightning shooting out, there's still no motion.
But what do you do when lightning is shooting out of everything?
It's hard.
You gotta draw it. You gotta draw flash lightning.
And that's fair. Like,
you gotta draw somebody getting struck by blue lightning. I don't know.
It's just,
what didn't work for you?
I already said. Didn't I already say? Didn't I already
Yeah,
say?
you probably did. All right, next segment.
I guess I didn't like that we had to go back to, like at the bottom of the first page it says, you better read Justice League number 50 and Superman number 52.
Yeah.
It was
So
kind
we
of
all got
kind of
that?
like
The
a
problem
small
with
fuck
that,
you.
though-
I happen to have
Yeah.
Justice League 50.
the problem with that though is
Which
that they were all released on the same day.
Right.
That's the problem.
So we all got back in our cars and bought them. Like, went back to the comic
How
store,
are we
right?
supposed to know
It's a
that? I mean,
scheduling. Like if you had read, I guess it tells you if you've read this first, but
yeah.
maybe you didn't pick up that book and now you're
Yeah.
stuck with a book you can't. Honestly, I didn't pay much heed to it just because I wasn't reading those books.
Yeah.
I read that.
Well, I want to read Superman 52 now because I read Justice League 50 before I read it because I had it and it
now
was
it's ruined
enlightening.
for you.
It was enlightening. There's a ton of story.
Enlightening?
There's a ton of backstory in.
Enlightening.
It was
Justice League.
enlightening coming out of everything, and you have to
It's
draw it.
enlightening.
It is.
The art's better.
Oh, is it fantastic though?
Well, no.
We've read Rebirth. This is like a one shot. It's setting up where DC is going with the current relaunch. Next week we have Batman, Green Lantern, Superman, Green Arrow.
Are you
After reading Rebirth, how excited are you guys for these?
I'm really looking
I'm
forward
excited.
to it. The biggest thing that excites me is just the talent that is attributed to these books. Again, I'm expecting it to be more geared towards new readers. So sign me up. I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm intrigued. And I think that was the whole point.
Yeah.
So, they glanced at some new storylines, some new characters taking on the helm of Blue Beetle, another Flash. Yeah, I'm totally intrigued.
Yeah, I'm really hoping it goes that way, and it is like pushed towards new readers because this seemed like a love letter to DC nerds that have been reading since the 50s, and I didn't get any of it.
And
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think this single issue was a complete success, but what it leads to, I feel like, might be a really good direction. So
I got to that last page though when Batman finds the comedian's pin. I love the Watchmen. Don't get me wrong.
yeah, I think we're in the minority.
Maybe not the
So
movie, but the book.
I
2
think
thumbs up.
we're all excited about that the inclusion of those characters, or no?
I turned the page and I saw what it was, and I was just like, "What the fuck?"
See, I'm-
and then I started thinking,
I'm
what
into
is
it.
Alan Moore thinking?"
I was like, holy shit.
I don't know.
I'm
is
into
Alan
it.
Moore
I mean,
thinking?
like,
What is that?
these are characters owned by DC. They
Right.
might as well use them.
Yeah.
It's not going to diminish what The Watchmen as a book was.
I mean, that's still their strongest selling trade, I believe, Watchmen.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Do you think Alan Moore is just going nutso on a voodoo doll of Jeff Johns right now?
I don't know. Maybe he's getting royalties.
There you go. There it is. Maybe he's just a secret leader of a lizard people cult underneath London. Who fucking knows at this point?
That's for fucking sure, though. We know that.
Well, that's where we'll end it. Lizard people, a cult underneath London. Okay.
Next month, we will look at a lot of the new Rebirth titles and fill you in.
Yeah, there's going to be a bunch. Favorite first is going to be DC heavy.
Yeah.
Not something I could say has ever happened.
Yeah, in a while at least.
No.
Not on this show. There's only been like 12 episodes.
Oh, hey. Favorite cover. My favorite cover is Hellboy in Hell, number 9. Crazy, I know. The penultimate issue of Hellboy in real time. The snake, the trees, the ash, and all of its stark magnolia magnificence. There's one last thing for Hellboy to do, and it's gonna be in issue 10. This is the end. My only friend. The end. Anyway, that's mine.
Best book!
This is the cream of the crop. These are the best single issue comic books that we have read this month. Our choice, of course. This can get a little wordy, so we have limited ourselves to 30 seconds. Colby's still going to try and read that whole paragraph, and we'll see if he pulls it off. But first, Seth, what you got?
My favorite book from May was Manifest Destiny number 19, the first issue of a new arc, Sasquatch, entitled Sasquatch. Written by Chris Dingus, art by Matthew Roberts, colors by Owen Gianni, and letters by Pat Brousseau from Image Comics. You guys ready for this?
Oh man, so Seth has talked this up. He said he just timed it out at home.
I'm reading it right off the thing.
Oh man, he's pulling a Colby, and I can't wait to see it. And whenever you're ready.
Yep, thank you for that. Manifest Destiny goes with its monsters / big bads, and Sasquatch is perfect for this. Great mix of folklore and mystery. This issue is split between 2 expeditions 3 years apart. The first met a gruesome end. The second is Lewis and Carroll investigating the previous expedition's demise. This arc is set up for a great thriller-esque investigation with information from the past revealed as we go. What combination of madness and terror await Lewis and Carroll, and what fate met the previous group?
Well done, 27.
You're done.
I was a little ahead of myself on that.
You were, but hey man, I think it sounded good.
Issue was great. Did you guys read it?
Yeah, I loved it. Sasquatch is by far like I never thought of buffalo centaurs, ninja Native Americans, Furbies, whatever the fuck those were. I'm so glad to get that taste out of my mouth. And this issue was just a banger and a half.
So Nick, what's your favorite book?
My favorite book of May 2016 was Howard the Duck, number 7. This one's written by Chip Zdarsky, with art by Kevin McGuire, Joe Quinones, and Jordan Gibson.
Whenever you're ready.
All right. While I thought The Punisher and DC Rebirth reminded me of how serious and heavy and just so big and brooding these universes can be, Howard the Duck reminded me how fun and light and silly it can be. We've got Old Cap, Spider-Man, Daredevil, She-Hulk, and Howard the Duck all investigating a missing rich person, and in a dinosaur park, hilarity ensues, and I loved it! It was a premature time, and I'm calling...
Pretty spot on.
Did you guys read this? Does anyone read Howard the Duck besides me?
Nope.
I will say I love Chip Zdarsky. I think he is one of the funniest writers around right now. And this is a one-shot. They go to a dinosaur park. Old Man Cap is just... He's like geriatric, and it's really funny. Daredevil can't do anything because he's not used to his surroundings, and Spider-Man is the selfish asshole Howard the Duck always paints him as. It's just too funny.
They rearranged Matt Murdock's furniture.
Not yet, but I can see it happening.
Last but not least,
Hi, Colby.
Culminator.
What you
Alright, Old Man Logan number 6. Jeff Lemire, Andrea Sorrentino, Marcelo Maiolo.
Man, you're
that
great.
again, I think.
Those are all weird.
Marcelo Maiolo. There. Just splice one of those in. He's as cantankerous as I'm getting, guilt-ridden from a past no one in this world experienced, overwhelmed in this new world where everyone is alive and younger, now suddenly, innocently, finding something new to add to his guilt pile in Killhorn Falls. He just wanted to see Maureen still alive, albeit a little girl. Now the town is held hostage by the Reavers, and there's a death toll. Andrea Sorrentino's art gets me every issue from panel to perfectly displaying our aged hero in action and making Jeff Lemire's story come to life with blood and emotion. Logan still got it though, shredding Bonebreaker from the tank up like he was paper. Yeah! We're clean by his treads. I think I did it.
The Reavers have the upper hand, though. Can the old man triumph?
We'll find out next issue. Done. Coffee's good.
So that's our favorite books from the month of May. On to the next one.
Good job, everybody.
I have such a white tongue. I didn't see you there, favorite cover.
My favorite cover of May 2016 is The Vision, number 7, with art by Mike Del Mundo, who, strangely, is not the artist of this book for just this one issue. Michael Walsh stepped in, who does X-Men. Worst X-Men ever right now, which I love that art. Oh, after seeing Captain America Civil War, I'm sure a lot of people notice Vision, Scarlet Witch, they got a little chemistry thing going on. Well, back in the day in the comics, they did date, and this is something that I didn't really know that much about, and this gives us, like, start to finish relationship between Vision and Scarlet Witch. Much like the different stages of a relationship, we've got these 4 versions of Scarlet Witch swirling around sad Vision,
He's not into it.
giving him all kissy face. I guess I never really noticed that his face is also Scarlet. Just a good cover, solid issue. Loved everything about it.
With Captain America Civil War hitting theaters and Civil War II hitting comic book shelves, we thought we would take our last segment to choose which Marvel character we thought we personally would follow into Civil War.
So blindly, not knowing the issues of said Civil War, which Marvel comic book character would we get behind? I trust you, and I'm going to follow you
First
into...
in line behind this unknown.
So, what did we pick?
Colby, who do you think you would trust the most?
Captain Marvel. Does it say why?
Yes.
Nope, that's it. All right, Seth.
Yes, say why. Carol
Just-
Danvers.
Yeah, she's at the helm of so many things. A-Force,
Alpha Flight.
Alpha Flight, and the Ultimates.
The
all that.
Ultimates.
She seems to have her act together. She's kind of all powerful. I think she would. I don't know if she's making the right decision in this one, but I'm blindly supporting her.
Did this decision have anything to do with the fact that she's on the cover, taking sort of like OG Civil War? We had Cap versus Tony Stark. This cover and all the covers I've seen, they have Captain Marvel, Tony Stark. Did that have anything to do with it? Like,
Captain America, you mean?
no,
She's
these
replacing
new-
Captain
Yeah,
America.
she's basically.
Oh.
Sorry.
Did that have anything to do with your choice?
No, I don't think I would have supported Tony anyway. But no, I like her character overall and all the books she's.
I just had a friend answer this question. I don't know, Warlock. They're the most powerful, so I'll take Warlock or
yeah.
Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Just curious.
I personally took the question not necessarily as most powerful because that's
Right.
kind of an endless argument, but I chose a character that I thought is ethically and morally responsible, I guess, and also has the experience in a situation like this. So I chose Black Panther. He is an actual leader of a country, so he has some responsibility. Obviously, in his run right now, he's in some hot water. But I think he has some moral guidance that he's living towards.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he's got immense power that I don't think anyone really knows for sure how far that extends.
True. I thought long and hard about this. My pick is Jennifer Walters, the She-Hulk. Every time these Civil War things start, it's a lot of bickering. And who do I have on my side?
A lawyer.
A lawyer. We're gonna litigate the
She
shit.
just lost a case, man.
Oh my god, it's fine. You don't win them all, dude.
Your client got killed in jail.
Oh my god. Anyway,
Spoiler.
we've got this litigator. She's gonna lay it down the way it should be. And then, when shit hits the fan, who am I standing behind? Motherfucking She-Hulk. She's huge. You get the legal side, you can talk your way to things, and then you got the beat down side. She-Hulk is the person to get behind, and she's green and hot. That's awesome. Green and hot. Who wouldn't you follow? Like, if you had to pick someone like...
There's so many characters that I wouldn't follow.
God. Okay, give me like a little... Break me off a piece of like your short list.
Well, number one, Punisher.
Punisher? Here's what we do, guys.
He won't be in it. He won't be in it.
No, but
He's
what if he
never-
was, and it was like all he was doing is just murdering civilians?
I wouldn't
the
follow.
crowd.
Oh my
Like
god!
picking
Yeah,
off people in the crowd, bystanders.
More and more, Marvel is becoming the publisher of snark. So like any snarky character, I just couldn't take seriously. Spider-Man, Iron Man, so many characters.
really, Spider-Man. Our foreign correspondent John Nickerson couldn't be with us today. He's in Botswana.
In a park in Botswana.
He said I would stand behind whoever Spider-Man stood behind.
What about Thanos?
I would not get behind Thanos, I guess. He seems like he's just into one thing. I would probably not get behind Medusa. I like the
I just don't
character.
know her enough. I don't
I'm
know.
not appreciative of all that hair.
That hair is crazy looking.
Yes.
It makes me not trust her.
Fucking mess. Takes up all of the
Takes up a
panels.
very large amount of the panels. And Tony Stark. I just don't trust the dude. He seems like such a skis.
I mean, how many Civil Wars has he been on the wrong side?
I think it's
1.5, maybe?
You think so?
I think he's going to be on the right side this time, too. Oh, well. That does it for a really weird top 3.
What may the future hold?
Well, thanks for watching, but before we go, we're going to do our monthly forecast where we each pick a book that we think is going to be noteworthy coming out in June 2016, and then next month
we'll revisit it.
we'll revisit it and tell you how we thought. What are you thinking, Colby?
I think we know.
Tell me your thoughts.
Everybody knows Hellboy in Hell number 10, the last real-time Hellboy story Magnola's gonna do.
Still writing Hellboy, huh?
He's still writing Hellboy. This is it. It's gonna be a banger. It's gonna
Did you
kick your picks ass.
I have to know. You have already talked about Hellboy number 9 or 10 at least 50 times in this video for this month. What is the last thing he has to do?
We don't know.
You really don't know?
He's already slain the devil. He probably needs to take the throne. I don't know. No, I don't know.
Cross the river.
What do you think he's gonna do?
I really don't know.
What do you want him to do?
Die.
What is your
Be at
investment in this
peace.
character?
Be at peace.
Oh my god.
What do you mean, what's my investment in this character?
I'm just kidding because you don't seem to know. You don't
was-
seem to want
What
to
do you
know.
mean? Oh, as far as this, well, he was brought into this world to destroy it, and then the whole glory of his character is that he does good.
Ask me what I'm gonna forecast.
Hey, Nick, what's your pick?
My pick for June 2016 is Rumble number 11.
That's a good choice.
Thank you.
What are you gonna say about it?
It's one of my favorite books. I didn't think much of it when it came out. It's a scarecrow god wandering around, I don't know, Brooklyn, unearthing strange mysteries with a bartender. And it's like every single month, it's just one of the best books I read. It's been gone since last year, right?
Yeah.
And it's finally back.
November or December.
This also has some like Hellboy-ish sort of like
It's got,
mythology sort of.
yeah, it's a lot
intertwined with
of,
it.
of the, maybe all of them have worked on Hellboy.
John Arcudi, James Herron,
Dave Stewart.
Dave Stewart. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a lot of Dark Horse dudes doing like a Hellboyish sort of thing, mythos based.
The art is,
I'm gonna say it's fantastic.
it's fantastic.
Art good, book good. So yeah, that's my pick. I think it's gonna be a banger. Seth,
You ready for it?
I'm apparently gonna get my brain broke. So yeah, give it to me.
Here we go. All right, guys. The best book that you'll read in June
Oh dang!
2016.
Put your money on the table.
It's the final part in a 4-part series that is now ongoing. Headlopper number 4 comes out in June. And up to this point, it's been the best book, even though it's come out quarterly and we've had to wait so long.
It's staying quarterly, right?
I believe so.
Good.
But I believe it's ongoing now. It was a 4-part
is.
series to start, and can't wait. I mean,
Ooh.
with a quarterly book, you got a lot to get through in one issue, so a number of things could happen, but above all, the action scenes are crazy good in this book, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
The comedy's good too.
And the
Yeah.
comedy's great. So
Thanks for watching The Hits for May 2016, and next month we'll be back with more Hellboy news and a bunch of favorite firsts and
lots of DC favorite.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have a
issues.
DC heavy month next month, so
Rebirth.
rebirth. Yeah. Can't wait. Yep, see ya dude.
Signing off.